All right. Bengals final score was 34-27. They lose to the Eagles, which obviously who cares about the final score, but Skinny, we got to look at the first teamers there. The offense trucked right down the field. Couldn't have looked sharper. Joe Burrow was 9 of 10 for 123 yards, 2 touchdowns, had nearly a perfect quarterback rating. Ja'Marr Chase had 4 catches, 77 yards, had the big bailout on the early drive on third down, had the touchdown catches. I mean, he was making plays. They couldn't have looked better, I don't think, if you were a Bengals fan. Everyone's going to read too much into this because the starters actually played this year. So we're going to try to take more from these preseason games than we probably should. But what was your overarching takeaway just from what you saw of the starting group out there?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. It's hard not to. It's funny, Burrow kind of deadpan that he didn't think he played all that great. It was pretty good.
Would you say average was the term he used?
I mean, honestly, listen, I like the guy. I like the standard he tries to set, right? All those things are great. I like the competitor in him, and he's striving for a perfect bar, if you will. I mean, I missed the first throw. Yeah, you did. It was a terrible throw to T. Higgins, and then you completed 9 in a row. I mean, at some point we just go, yeah, I like my performance. I did, the numbers kind of speak for themselves. Unless I know it's against Eagles backups, I get it. I know they're not. Now, they did throw a zero coverage blitz at him, which I thought was interesting in a preseason game where basically that's just literally safeties are coming, everybody's coming, and you're man-to-man across the board. That's the one where Chase caught the out route and turned it into a long touchdown. So that was good to see because he actually had to face some blitz down and make a quick pass and all those things. But at some point, can you just go, that was really good. Honestly, I think that was great. I mean, what else? Listen, you did miss the first throw. I get it, man. You're a human being, you serial killer. It's okay.
Well, I do like the people like ourselves or anyone who does their post-game podcast who then try to dissect that about like, did you think it was an average performance? No, I thought it was better than average, actually. This is just Joe holding himself to. It's like, guys, this is Joe being Joe. This is what he does all the time. He tries to give you whatever quarterback cliche thing he can say to make himself seem humble and dissatisfied and always striving for more or whatever. He was unbelievable. He couldn't have looked any sharper than he looked. If he'd have
been 10 for 10, he got, the one ball placement on that 3rd and 4 was just a hair behind my guy. And thank God I have Ja'Marr Chase to make that catch.
No, when quarterbacks don't have anything real to say, they always go back to spinning it. Yeah, I just wasn't spinning as well as I wanted to. It wasn't coming off my fingertips.
Correct. But again, it's against Eagles backups. I mean, I think that's what you would expect, right? I mean, it's Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase and T. Higgins and all the weapons and all of those things. I guess the flip side would have been we'd all be scratching our heads going, oh, that was ugly. Nobody got hurt. That was a great thing. That's, I think, probably what everybody was holding their breath about of, oh, gosh, Joe's going to get hit. I mean, the one time, remember, he had to kind of roll out on a play and roll away from some pressure, and then you're wondering, oh, gosh, don't get hit. I mean, listen, I know people are going to dissect Lucas Patrick and the penalty was bad and all those things. And I've seen some people talk about, oh, he was terrible. Was he terrible? I mean, did Joe Burrow get hit last night?
Well, I think last night was perfect for what you wanted out of it for Joe Burrow's case because he did feel the pressure. He got that zero blitz he had to avoid, feel the timing on. He had the play you're talking about where he got chased and had to get rid of it. That's what you want. You wanted him to feel the pressure, feel the timing of it all without actually having to take the hit.
Right.
So from that perspective, I think it couldn't have worked out better. You mentioned Lucas Patrick, the offensive line. What did you think of that group? Because I think that's one of the more interesting storylines coming into the season here.
Yeah, I thought they were fine. The thing is, listen, I get it. You don't want your guy to get hit. It's Joe Burrow. People hold their breath. We've seen him get hurt, all of those things, right? And so fans are a little – and this offensive line historically has not been great. I understand all those things. But when you drop back 700 times, he's going to get hit, guys. It's going to happen. This offensive line wasn't trash last year. It was okay. And the guard play wasn't very good. I get that. The PFF grades tell you what they are. But when you drop back 700 times, your quarterback is going to get hit in this league. Every quarterback's going to get hit in this league. It amazes me that Bengals fans think that Joe Burrow should be put in a plastic bubble and should never get hit. He's going to get hit. It is what it is.
Do you think the coaching staff saw anything last night that would have them shuffling guys around already?
I don't know about the shot. I think you'll see Cody Ford get first-team reps the next game just because it is a competition. So if you're going to do this, I don't want to call it in a fair way. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to do this to evaluate one guy with the first teamers, wouldn't you like to evaluate the other guy with the first teamers, to have all the good pieces around him? Because the evaluation is really hard when if you're only getting second team reps in a competition and maybe you're having to make up for some guy missing a block here and you're covering for him there. And I just don't think that's a great way to evaluate. And I think they'll do a good job of that. I mean, Cody got first team reps at guard the first week of camp. Lucas was getting some second team reps at center, and probably, truth be told, he's probably going to be the backup center on game days, even if he's the starting guard. And so then Lucas got hurt for a couple of practices. Then when he came back, he took, I think the last 3 practices, he got first team reps at right guard. I think they're trying to evaluate that now those ways. And maybe this was the perfect storm of, okay, you got first team reps going into the game. We'll give you first team reps now. Maybe now in the next 6 practices, Lucas gets first team reps for a couple of days, and then Cody Ford gets first team reps the rest of the week, and then Cody gets first team reps against Washington. Maybe not. Maybe they saw enough out of Lucas to go, nope, you're the guy. Cody, you're a Swiss Army knife. You're the guy that's going to be the backup swing tackle, because right now our swing tackle is either Devin Cochran or Jalen Rivers. And so, Cody, we saw you do it last year in that role. That's the right role for you. And maybe that's what they do with this. So I do think you'll see Cody get first team reps against Washington. And if not, then obviously the competition's over with.
I mentioned because the starters are out there, people are going to overreact to what the offense did. But
Joe Burrow was on pace. Joe Burrow was on pace to throw for 488 yards. Jamar Chase was on pace to catch 16 balls for 308 yards. Rick, come on.
Well, but the flip side of that, of course, is everyone's also going to overreact to the way the defense performed, which wasn't good at all. Let me ask you this. Were you more concerned about the secondary, the lack of tackling up front, the big gash plays in the run game? What concerned you about what you saw from the defense? Or is it all just like, hey, it's the first game, it's very early, we don't know?
I'm not using first game for that group. I'm sorry. Listen, I know vanilla, and I know they didn't blitz. And listen, they showed some looks in camp that they didn't show in this game. I saw more blitzing in camp. I didn't really see any in this game. So I'll give that part a pass. But Myles Murphy on the 38-yard Will Shipley run was a disaster. I mean, just a disaster. And then, again, I know you're down. And again, part of this too is you're down Trey Hendrickson. You're down Cam Taylor-Britt. You're down Dax Hill. But you're also, well, I guess the good news is, they don't play the Eagles this season. And thank goodness if they did. I mean, if Jalen Hurts couldn't play and they had to play Tanner McKee, good Lord, how do you stop Tanner McKee and Will Shipley? I mean, good Lord. Thank God it wasn't Saquon and Jalen Hurts. It might have been 1,000-0 in a quarter.
Seriously. I mean, it was ugly. It was everyone's ugly. Saying,
listen, I've been part of the hype train in camp about the defense. It's like, they're making plays, and they're making plays against the Bengals' first-team offense. And look at the energy and the enthusiasm, and they're flying around. They were a disaster.
Yeah. How much of that do you think is disheartening for the coaching staff? Because they've been talking them up a little bit too, saying like, hey, we like what we've got. Skinny, I mean, looking at what they did this offseason, the spots they needed to upgrade, they basically went out, drafted someone, and were like, hopefully this guy's going to be a plug-and-play, fill-in piece, and they've got a new defensive coordinator. I've been looking at that all along as like, I don't know how much better this defense is really going to be. Hopefully they'll be about what they were last year, maybe slightly better because they're more athletic and youthful. But like, I don't really understand the reason for optimism going into this year with all the moving parts they have. And based on what we saw last night, I would be concerned. How disheartened do you think they are about it?
I don't know if they're disheartened a ton. Like I said, I mean, what did you show? I mean, I know Zach even said, listen, we didn't do much. We wanted our guys to try to win one-on-ones and see what that looked like. And that's disappointing because they didn't win one-on-ones, whether it was in coverage, whether it was, up front. I'm not going to go crunch the tape of a preseason game. I'm sorry about that, folks. I'm just not. Did they twist and stunt much up front? It didn't seem like they did. But again, in one-on-ones, like I said, the Will Shipley run, Myles Murphy got abused by a rookie right tackle. I mean, that can't happen. That's the kind of stuff that you go, that's what's disheartening, is that's the stuff that just simply can't happen.
Well, speaking specifically of Myles Murphy, he looked like a disaster out there. I mean, looked just completely overmatched, unprepared, unready, didn't know where he was supposed to be. On the flip side, Shamar Stewart might have been the most interesting storyline from this whole thing, Skinny. I thought, from the untrained eye, what I saw from Shamar Stewart last night, he clearly looked better than Myles Murphy and Joseph Osai, in my opinion. What was your take on that?
Yeah, and that's what's happened in camp. And he's gone up mostly against second teamers. He's gotten a handful of first team reps. They've moved him all across the line from both ends. I don't think he's played left tackle or, on the nose, because he's not a nose, but he's played some 3 technique. I know they've talked about playing him at 5, so he may have played that as well. So they've moved him all around, and he's dominated the second team. He's gotten some first team reps in there and at least shown up. And I think what you saw last night is he is just clearly more athletic than backups in the NFL. I'd like to see it against starters. Hopefully, hopefully Washington plays its starters in game 2. I'm going to guess they will. And hopefully Shamar gets more meaningful full reps. But yeah, you saw exactly what we've seen in the week plus that he's practiced. He is an athletic freak, and he can do some things that you just go, wow. You just need to see consistency. You need to see the ability to finish, all of those things. But yeah, he did exactly what you've seen in camp against backup players.
Aside from just the athleticism, though, Skinny, there's also moments where it's like, I don't know, maybe it's a screen or a rollout, something where it's a change of direction. It's a misdirection type play that he's got to react, diagnose what's going on, and kind of get to the spot. It doesn't seem like he's out of position on those things. It seems like he's seeing them quickly. He's diagnosing them. He's understanding. He's picking up on the defensive scheme, but also being able to read and react to the offense a little bit already. This is a guy that, 2-3 weeks ago, we were talking about this, and I said, like, what are the 1 through 10? Where do we think his chances are of having a productive rookie season? I was at like 2.5, 3, maybe. I think.
Yeah, I was probably in that regard too. Just because
I think you said 3.
Yeah, you're not taking any reps.
They found a way to get it done and get him in camp, thankfully. And within a very short amount of time, I got to give the guy credit. I would say that 2 or 3 has bumped way up to like 5 or 6 all of a sudden, partly because the guys in front of him look terrible.
Yeah, no, and that's, like I said, that's. Again, I'm part of the shameful hype train of this defense, of what it's done, just because of what I've seen it do in camp. And I know that the same thing's been talked about Shamar Stewart. If we're all overhyping him, and maybe we were. I mean, we're just reporting what he's done, which has been impressive. You saw what we've seen. I mean, that's literally what you've seen in camp for the most part. Is he shows up big time.
Yeah, I'll admit, I mean, I'm completely pleasantly surprised by that. A couple weeks ago, I thought, oh man, what a disaster pick this is looking like it's going to turn out to be, when they really needed to hit on a guy at this position. And all of a sudden, he's kind of showing off why they made the decision that they did. Kudos to him, because he came in a tough situation. It could have easily gone a different way, but at least for now, he looks like he's on the right track. Skinny, what else? Germaine Burton was another guy I wanted to ask you about. I know there wasn't a ton there, but he played a decent amount of snaps. What did you see from him? Do you feel like he's progressing the right way, the way a lot of people thought he might earlier this offseason?
Yeah, I mean, he's been so good in camp. I mean, he's been in the right place, it's not just flash plays. It's not just him down the field. It's him sitting down in his zone. One of my favorite plays he made in camp, I think it was a 7-on-7. It might have been 11-on-11. It was a red zone drill. And he sat down in his zone right at the goal line. And he was playing with the ones because Burrow was the quarterback in the drill. Sat down at the goal line and then literally kind of like sat down to the point where he dropped to his knees to make sure he kind of sat down and caught a touchdown pass. And I'm like, okay, that's a guy who's kind of getting it a little bit. I talked to Troy Walters, the wide receivers coach, one day about a bunch of wide receivers. And I said, last year obviously was a disaster. What is he doing right this year? Is it as simple as lining up? And he goes, it is. He goes, last year in camp, it was literally me on every play going, no, move 2 steps there. No, move 2 steps there. You got to line up closer there. He goes, I'm not doing that now. He said he's coming out of the breaks at the right time. He's reading coverages better. I mean, it's going to be a hell of a redemption story if he pulls this off, and he's at least on the right path to do it. The punt return was fabulous. I don't know if he's the full-time punt returner. It may still be Charlie Jones. I do think those guys are receivers 4 and 5, however you want to put them. And then there's a battle for receiver 6 and or 7 if they keep 7. I don't think they keep 7. I do know they'll keep 6, and it's a wide battle for that spot. But I think both Charlie Jones and Charlie showed up last night too, in my opinion. I thought he had some good plays as well. I think they've kind of solidified themselves in those roles. And again, this has got a chance to be a great redemption story because the guy has obviously got athletic. That punt return showed all the athletic ability of Germaine Burton.
Yeah, it's there. I mean, the talent's there. There's a reason they took him where they did last year. And like you said, if he can somehow figure this out, because it was another situation, not quite to the point with Shamar Stewart's a different situation, obviously, with the holdout, the contract negotiations, but for a totally different reason, Germaine Burton was looking like a disaster pick after last season. If he turns that around for them, I mean, it would almost be like it's almost like benefiting this draft. You didn't have him at all last year, but maybe he gives you another player this year to work with.
I know this is going to be blasphemy because everybody loves him, and he is a good little guy, and to his credit, he kind of solidified himself as a number 3 receiver. He's just more dynamic than Andre Yoshavash. I like Andre. He does what he's supposed to do. He is literally, if you're a coach, you go, that's why he plays, because he does exactly what I need him to do. Block downfield? Yeah, he's going to block. Run the right route? Yeah, he's going to run the right route. Is he going to show up in the red zone? Going to show up in the red zone. Is he dynamic? No, not so much. But he's going to do all the things that a coach loves, right? I mean, he's dependable. He's all those things. Germaine is the wild card. Germaine is he going to do the right thing? I think he's going to do the right thing. He looks like he's shown to do the right thing. Can I trust him in a game? And then he's going to make a big play for you. So I think he just gives you a much more dynamic option if he's on the field with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I don't know if you can do that more snaps than Andre because you want dependable guy, but dynamic guy. If he's going to show more dependability, and so far so good. I mean, been on time. He's been at practice. I told you, I mean, even just looking at his face, Rick, I mean, last year he looked like a freaking zombie. Like he didn't know where he was, what time of day it was, why he was there, why people were mad at him, why teammates were mad at him, why coaches were mad at him. What day was it? What day did I get any sleep? He looks like just physically is just, you can look in his eyes and go, that's a different dude. Does it keep up? I sure hope so for his sake.
Yeah, it could be a really cool story for both him and the Bengals. What else, if anything, stood out to you about this first preseason game?
Yeah, I thought Barrett Carter showed up, and which was good. He's been good in camp. And again, the caveat is the Eagles starters didn't play, so they were playing against the backups of the backups. McKinley Jackson the same way. McKinley's, I don't think, has had a great camp. It's been an okay camp. I thought he was physically dominant at the point of attack at times last night. Again,
was he the one that had the dumb penalty, though?
Yeah, the dumb penalty. There was two dumb penalties. There's a DJ Ivey offsides on a field goal, and then there was the McKinley Jackson hitting the snapper. You can't hit the snapper on
long snap.
Yeah, so he got that one. It wiped off a field goal, and they scored a touchdown. I mean, you can't have two. So I'm going to guess that Darren Simmons on that plane ride home from Philly had steam coming out of the top of his head because it's just he is such a stickler for stuff. I can't imagine he's very happy with those things.
Yeah, that is not going to go over well. Any final thoughts on the Bengals before we move on here?
No, I know it's always overreaction, usually Monday in the NFL, both good or bad. This is kind of overreaction Friday. But listen, we can do the whole, it was against backups, but you wanted to see Joe Burrow. You wanted to see the starters. They did literally to a T what you hoped they would do. Dominate, execute, and not get hurt. And so let's see what a full half against hopefully Washington starters looks like.